Armin? I see the wheels turning. You're trying to remember this.
Yeah, because there's so many of them. A quick story. Was JG? No, none of you were there. Okay, I had to do a convention in Hawaii. I was late for the plane leaving LAX. I got on the plane. I just made it. They closed the door immediately after I got on. I flew to Hawaii. I got to the hotel in Hawaii. They asked for my ID. I reached into my wallet. I didn't have any ID. I must have left it at LAX when I got on the plane.
Oh no.
I spent 2 days thinking, okay, so what am I going to do? I called UPS. They said, yes, your wife can ship you ID, but it'll take 3 days to get to you. And in 3 days, I wasn't going to be in Hawaii for 3 days. It was a convention. So the people at the airport in Hawaii said, I think JG, you were there.
I think I was.
Yeah, I think you were there. So here's the end of the story. I get to the airport, and they said, go talk to TSA and explain your story to them, and perhaps they'll be able to let you on the plane. I got to the TSA guy, and I gave him my story. And about halfway through the story about who I was and why I needed to get on the plane, he said to me, so what planet are you traveling to? And because everybody here except Cirroc worked in makeup, I'm always surprised when anyone recognizes me because I assume they know me as Quark and not as Armin, although I'm in a mask now, so it shouldn't make a difference. And so he said, okay, I'll let you through, there's no problem whatsoever. Now, I believe JG was about 5 minutes behind me. And I said, do me a favor. It was you, JG. I said, the guy, you see him over there, because it's a small airport in Honolulu. I said, you see that guy over there? Give him a wrap of shit. And did he?
Came to the right man.
Yeah. So there are many. It is surprising to me. I have been in all the far corners of the earth, and it is surprising to me how many people follow Star Trek around the world. Mm-hmm. It is a universal situation.
I'm going to bounce around. Bob, you got one?
Yeah. Armin made me remember something that happened to me, and it was very early. It was, I think, right after my first show, and where the eyes were like, Frakes wanted my eyes like this all the time. So I was like this all the time. And like Armin, I was racing through an airport, and I went, usually on a corner, I'll go around the corner, but I cut very sharply, and I ran right into a guy, and I was intense about getting that airplane. And I was like, and I went around the corner, and I bumped into a man who was about the same height I was, and I was like this, and he went, Garrow! It's a true story. It was like, I guess our eyeballs got really close.
Cirroc, you got one?
For me, the thing that surprises me the most is when I run into other celebrities, and I'm infatuated with them, and Magic Johnson or Denzel Washington or somebody like that, and you're more focused on them, and then they'll say something like, "Hey, I know you. You're the kid from Star Trek." So those moments are just kind of special because you don't expect it.
Was it those two guys?
Those two guys. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Cool. You made it when they recognized you. That's awesome. Andy, you got one?
Magic and Johnson, that would be fabulous. Really. For a while, Irene and I lived in Paris, and we lived in a part of Paris that's a very working class. It's out of off the beaten track. No tourists and so forth. And there was this little restaurant we decided to try, and I walked in, and the guy looked at me, and he he said something in French. I couldn't make out what he said, and then he walked away. And then he came back and he looked at me again, and then he walked away again. And I think, Jesus, this is very strange. And then he said, Garrick?
That's great. And JJ?
Well, it's very difficult because I was covered with 3 layers of latex and 3 or 4 wigs.
But they recognize Gowron.
And you still are.
They recognize Gowron. He has an eye up on me. He has this too big. I only had one, and people didn't recognize that one good eye. But it just went out of my mind. That's the thing. You can walk around. We were talking earlier. Andy and Gary Graham and myself were just commenting earlier this morning, how lucky we are to be doing this, to be able to go all the way around the world and people actually know who we are that we've never met and never would have a hope to meet, except through Gene Roddenberry going to Lucille Ball back in 1965 or whatever and saying, let's do a show. You know, life works in strange ways, and I never expected to be here. I was a football player in college, and if I'd have been Cirroc size, I would probably stuck with that, never gotten into this. But at some point, I said, "What am I doing? I don't want to spend 17 hours a day at football practice. There must be something else in the world."
So you spent 17 hours a day in makeup.
And that's even better.
You know that Lucille Ball had a choice between Star Trek and Mission Impossible, and she chose Star Trek. Mission Impossible showed up later, but she chose Star Trek.
We love you, Lucy.
There's another story that I like to share. Years and years ago, I was on a plane, and one of my heroes walked on the plane, and it's just the opposite of the question.